As I'm getting older, time has become more and more of my enemy, and I can honestly say that The Witcher 3 and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom are just not feasible for me to play anymore. And when I do have time, it's usually maybe an hour or so before bed to hop on my Switch or another device and hop into a retro classic that is actually achievable to finish. And so I took a look at howlongtobeat.com, and we actually came up with a list. My name's Craig with Out of Control Games, and this is a list of 5 NES games for the Switch Online service you can beat in 5 hours or less. Star Soldier might seem like a simple top-down arcade side-scrolling shooter, but there is a ton of depth here, especially if you're looking for something that's going to give you some challenge. Now, if you know what you're doing, this game can take an hour, but it might actually take anywhere up to 4 hours, depending also if you're going to cheese save states and use the rewind feature, which I highly recommend for this game. It's a great little game. You're facing the Galactic Empire, you're powering up your starship. It's, that mid to late 80s drama that was the sci-fi rage of all the day back then. And I can honestly say, this game is 38 years old and still has a ton of playability. Now, will you want to replay it after you finish it? Probably not. But if you beat Star Soldier, you'll be one of the selected few along the world of the internet that can actually say they've completed this game. If you've been following this channel for any amount of time, you know I love Shadow of the Ninja. And I can honestly say this game takes about an hour and a half to beat with save states. Actually, a little bit quicker if you really know what you're doing. And if you're playing co-op, it might actually take 2 hours because you need to coordinate a little bit more. Either way, it's a great time and a lot of fun to go back to and actually master, much like the original Mega Man 2 and 3. And I can honestly say the remaster is going to take you a lot longer than 2 hours. That game is hard, like Dark Souls levels of hard, which is a conversation for another day. But if you're looking for a 90s hack and slash run and gun style game that is going to be a lot of fun and give you that thrill of enjoyment, kind of like Ninja Gaiden in some ways, well, Shadow of the Ninja is definitely a must pick up for a weekend, or maybe hop in for 30 minutes a night. Either way, super fast, super fun, super simple. I am a huge fan of Batman for the NES. However, Batman for the NES is probably not going to come to the Switch Online anytime soon. But V.I.C.E Project Doom has that nostalgia feeling of playing the same game. Even though it's drastically different and a completely different story, I can honestly say V.I.C.E Project Doom takes less than an hour if you know what you're doing. Probably about 2 hours if you've never played it before. World of Long Plays actually beat it in 43 minutes and 23 seconds, so we have no excuse for not being able to complete a fantastic game. You play as V.I.C.E Officer Quinn Hart, a no-nonsense cop in the future who has a laser whip. That's right, you have a laser whip, as well as other various weapons, but you're down to take out the drug cartels in the streets of Chinatown, and this game is so good. It's honestly a great time. And if you have a couple of hours or maybe even just 15-20 minutes a night, you can beat it in a week, or just beat it one night on a weekend. Mech Fight might be a little late to the American shores, but you know what? I'm glad it finally arrived through the Switch Online service. While this game originally didn't come out until 1993 for the Famicom, Nintendo RD1 surely has some Street Fighter inspiration. And maybe they were taking a look at Rayman as well. Or when did Rayman come out? Hold on. Rayman didn't come out until 1995. Looky there. Either way, Mech Fight is a 36 fighter. This game is huge for the NES, and honestly, I'm a little surprised it didn't come to the Super Nintendo, but either way, this game is just fantastic. You unlock characters as you complete difficulties, and it takes about 3 to 4 hours depending on your own skill level. It might take more, and thank goodness for save states. But either way, this game is a very unique fighter. If you've never played it before, definitely give it a try. If you're a fan of fighting games or not, it's absolutely worth picking up for a weekend. On the surface, Solomon's Key might look like a simple, oh, just get the key, move to the end of the level sort of game, but there is a ton of strategy involved in this puzzle platformer. And I have to say, I played through it over the course of a week, and I fell in love with it in a way I wasn't expecting. It's not just a puzzle platformer, there's a lot of strategy involved here, especially if you're a fan of chess or any sort of tabletop puzzle games. There's actually 64 levels to explore. 12 of them are hidden and based on the Zodiac, so it might actually take you anywhere between an hour to 4 hours of gameplay depending on your speed. If you decide to use save states or the rewind feature, that's all going to be up to you. But there's a lot of depth to explore here. Yes, you can beat it in a weekend or do like I did and play it over several nights, but the strategy here is worth the challenge. I just recommend do a save state at the beginning of every level and take your time. Don't rush through it, and you can beat it on one life, technically. If you're using save states, it might be more than one, but either way, it's a great time and a really underappreciated gem. That's it for this week's video, but what other games do you love to play that are just super short? It could be Switch Online, retro, modern. Leave a comment below and tell us. And hey, did you know you can actually beat the original Super Mario Bros. In 2 hours, both difficulties, no warps? Yes, it is possible. And yes, there is a more extreme difficulty. Well, I say extreme, a harder difficulty by beating the game and playing it a second time. This has been Craig with Out of Control Games. We know life is hard and crazy and out of control enough. Don't let your gaming be.